Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator, and welcome to Portsmouth in the UK. Sorry, I spaced out there for just a second. So it's 2 a.m. We haven't done a trip at night for a while. So I did. The game patched over. I'm not sure what went in. It wasn't a big patch. We're still on 1.31. But I had to teleport because it put us back in Reims. So I figured while I was here, and we have a little bit of money, so I figured while I was here, let's buy some stuff, and I did. I added some lights to the truck. Up top. Alright. So we've got 4 little hella sort of pin spots up on top, and then I also added, and this may be a bit over the top, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like the little beacon bar in the middle is okay. The side beacons on the side of the light bar frame on the roof, I don't know. And then these little guys down on the front, I kind of like those. I think they're too bright, but I kind of like them. And this is now obviously only for when we're hauling a heavy cargo. I know beacons are fun. And let me see if I can zoom in on this. And this is new too. If you can see that little LED side light, that's from Big T, I believe. And that's in the Steam store. If you go to the Big T workshop, in the European Truck Simulator workshop, you'll see he's got these little, and it's part of a bigger kit, a side light kit. So right, we're going to turn those off. We're only going to use those for heavy cargo, or when we really need to, because they're awfully bright. So, meantime, let's find a job. And this might be a bit of a longer video. It's been a while since we've done kind of just a balls out Euro truck video. Portsmouth. And I would like to go, ideally I'd like to go into Ireland. So let's focus on that. Birmingham, not really the direction we're headed. And this is, I have to say, this is a little disappointing. You would think a port would have a lot more stuff going on. Well, we might have to go to Birmingham and then just kind of continue making our way across. Because there's really, you know, unless we go back to sleep, Cambridge, it's kind of the opposite way. And then London is where we just came from. The only thing is if we go to London, we could use all them fancy beacons. 7 grand. You know what? I have an even better idea. Check this out. Since it is, what, 2 a.m.? Let's just do this. Let's sleep again. There we go. And now let's see what we got. Man, if it didn't cycle and all we did was just waste 8 hours. Ooh. But at the same time, just a game. Nobody cares. Felixstowe? Nope. Swansea. Ah, see that? That paid off. Chelmsford, that's the other way. Let's go to, what was the other one? Felixstowe. No, let's go to Swansea. Let's do it. We got 5 hours to get there, and it's going to be 422 kilometers. So I think that's just about right. Now we're going to miss Plymouth. Maybe we can circle back to it. But either way, we'll be up in the right direction. Set as GPS destination. Here we go. And we are going to turn our lights on for safety in the rain. Don't really need fuel. Not at the moment. Oh, it's right next door. Perfect. Turn the wipers up a little bit. So we'll get rolling here and I'll tell you what's going on in SimWorld. Or at least in my SimWorld. In the UK. In the UK. I feel like driving a truck would be hard enough, and then driving a truck in a city would be even harder. And then driving a truck in a city that... Oh, buddy, you're being too helpful right now. Sir, thank you. Driving a truck in a city where they drive on the opposite side of the road from where you're used to driving. Although, okay, Okay, let's modify that. If you're a professional truck driver and you do drive in the UK and in mainland Europe, you probably, you know, I'm saying where you're used to driving. If you're a pro driver, you're used to driving on both sides. Right. Where's our? Oh, and we can pick what kind of tank we want. Do we want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. Oh, we don't really get that many choices. This looks kind of funky though. This looks different. I don't think we've. Yeah. All right, let's do it. I didn't know DHL was in the bulk liquids business, but what can you say? Where are we at? We're right there. So yeah, there's been a driver update. There's been an NVIDIA driver update. There's been I had some issues with Shadowplay. You know, I have a lot of issues with Shadowplay, and that's I don't know, man. It kind of sucks because it's a good app. I feel it works really well. I'm gonna try to do this. Yeah, let's try to do this just with the mirrors. I've been having, I don't want to say luck, like better luck with this lately, but I've been having better luck with it. In the rain, I guess, is what I should be specific. Because in the rain, man, you really can't see crap in these mirrors. And we just banged into it. So before did we get it? No, we didn't really get it. Yeah, with the rain on the mirrors, it's a handful, man. But I've been having better luck with it, so it goes. All right, let's hook this up. Airlines makes me so happy. And looks like we got a lift axle. So let's fire that up. Here we go. So what I did was I uninstalled and then I reinstalled the NVIDIA GeForce Experience, which is the program that contains Shadowplay. I don't know, man. I like NVIDIA, but I'm sort of on the fence about the whole let us help you thing. Like, you know, they make the drivers that run the card. You need the drivers to run the card. You need the card to run the game, whether it's NVIDIA or AMD or however you want to get down. But sometimes I feel like, you know what, we could just end the relationship right there. You don't need to help me. Just, you know, just make the drivers to run the card and we'll call it good. But then NVIDIA does some stuff where, they say they have cards that are optimized for certain games, and I've not necessarily found their idea of optimization to be like the best. I don't know that it's, you know what I mean? Like their settings for certain games, or I guess they've even got on certain graphics cards where it will sort of evaluate, like analyze your system and then pick graphic settings in the card where like the card settings overwrite the game settings. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But it will analyze your system, it will evaluate your system, and it will pick what it thinks are the ideal or optimal graphic settings for that particular game based on your system. And then you tell it to, you know, yes, use these settings. And then you go in and stuff like anti-aliasing and HDR and bloom and stuff. You go into the game and turn it off, and it's running it direct from the card. And very often I find, and then I go online because, you know, I'd like to confirm whether or not I'm crazy. But I'll go online and look, and people are like, no, the settings don't work at all. So sometimes I feel like NVIDIA, you know, help me less. Just make the drivers. Kind of an awkward placement for a sign. Just make the drivers and call it good. You know, you don't need to do any more than that. Whoa. But they do. So there are a lot of things in the GeForce Experience that I don't necessarily want, but that's how you get Shadowplay. So it's a newer version. I uninstalled it and I reinstalled it. It's a newer version, and we'll see. We'll see if we get a lag spike. But I've been really kind of working to minimize those. And I thought, for a minute, I thought I had it figured out. And I thought what I figured out was that it wasn't necessarily caused by shadow play, it was caused by tabbing because when you're running full screen and you open another app, you're essentially tabbing, even if it's an app like shadow play that's designed to run over games. Not run over them. You know what I mean. So I thought, if we're running in windowed mode, right, rather than full screen, then we're tabbing differently. And it's something to do with allocation of resources in the Microsoft Windows 10 Fall Creator Pack or something. Read about it online. So I was like, oh sweet, I'll just run my truck sims in windowed mode, right? Well, turns out Shadowplay can't capture when you're in windowed mode. You get the black screen. So it's like, oh, game, you got me coming and going here. So eventually, I did uninstall and reinstall, and I did that so I'd have a clean install of the new version. So we'll see. But we got a good frame rate. Everything's looking pretty good right now. Happy about that. And trying to think what else. Yeah, that's about it. Man, I have been a racing fool. And you know, it wasn't supposed to be this way. This channel was only going to be truck and farm. And I just threw in, because I don't know, man, I like race sims, but I'm definitely a casual sim racer, or at least I was. So I got, I had Project Cars 2, and like a lot of people, I was like, oh yeah, I got a racing simulator. And then you start learning about Assetto Corsa and some of these others, and it's like, oh, I have sort of a racing simulator, because there are much more realistic sims online. Although I have to say, Project Cars 2 still gets it on immersion. It may not be the most accurate physics, but the combination of graphics and the rain and everything and the lighting and the cars and the sound, it may not be the most accurate, but it is a very immersive game. I love it. Tiny lag spike. Tiny lag spike. Don't do it. So I did get Assetto Corsa, and then I got R Factor, and then I got, about 3 days ago, I got iRacing. And I didn't really want to, but I did. And the reason I got iRacing is I got a wheel. The reason I got a wheel is because I couldn't compete in F1 2017 on a gamepad. Although I know people can, and good for them. You are awesome. I apparently am not awesome, because I cannot be competitive. Well, I can be competitive if I absolutely potato the AI, but I don't want to do that. I want to race against real AI, or at least, realer. I don't want to just do laps against a bunch of drunks. I want my AI to be pushing me a little bit. So I got the wheel specifically for F1 2017, and it came with a year of iRacing, so I'm not going to turn that down. iRacing is $12 a month. It's $150, man. If somebody offers me $150, I will take it. And I really like the idea of racing against people, because so much of my racing, well, virtually all of it, other than iRacing now, is single player. And And even though, I mean, from one perspective, it's like, well, what the hell's the difference? You're just racing against cars on a screen. It's weird, man, knowing that there is a person somewhere sitting at a wheel, just like mine. Well, you know what I mean, not just like mine, but sitting at a wheel, or sitting, a gamepad, or however, wherever they get down, there's a person connected, and it's like primal, man. You just, or at least it is for me. Like I just want to be the best at everything. So I really like the idea of racing against people. And I heard some things about the lower levels of iRacing, the rookie leagues, and I'm finding it to be true. But I think it's a great system they have set up where you basically earn your way up to a level that is appropriate for how well you drive. I think that's a great system, and what it does is ultimately the only people, theoretically, the only people that are making it up to the higher levels are people that know how to stay on the track at at a basic level, how not to crash, and also how not to make contact, and how to really be good racers. And obviously I'm not yet. I'm a total rookie. Although I did license up yesterday, and I was, again, it's not that much of an accomplishment. I went from my rookie license to my D license. It's really not that much of an accomplishment, but at the same time, it kind of is, because I know some people can. And that's what I like about the system, is that if you're a super casual player, or if you're just a kid and you want to goof around or something, Forza is right there waiting for you. You can run over mailboxes to your heart's content. But if you want to race seriously, as I do, you have to learn how to do that first off, and then sort of demonstrate that you can do that by taking you don't really take tests per se, but by doing certain things you level up. So I got my first license, and I'm stoked about that, even though, like I said, I went from a rookie to a D license. But I have a good safety rating, and checking my stats, it's climbed up really, really steadily. And I've been trying to race. Talked about this in an American truck simulator video. I've been trying to race as though I were really racing, which, if you've ever done hot laps, or if you've ever driven really expensive high-performance cars, you are extremely careful, because you can get hurt very quickly, and you can, even if you don't get hurt, you can do thousands and thousands of dollars of damage. Not only really quickly, but really without even trying. I mean, obviously you're not trying to do damage, but you can scuff something pulling back into the pit stall, and a couple $1,000 for a headlight assembly, $800 for turn signal lens, that sort of thing. That'll keep you focused. So that's how I'm trying to drive, even though I'm just in a little Miata. But definitely fun. And I will say, well, I posted an F1 video recently, yesterday, in fact, and it took me so long to get that race, and I was doing practice races, because before I do a career race, I do practice races of that same race in the same car, so I don't mess up my career. It's like a rehearsal. And I have a load cell simulator on my brake pedal, so it's extremely stiff. And then my force feedback is cranked all the way up, so my wheel is extremely stiff, and I just practiced this race over and over and over for hours. And then yesterday I was on iRacing for several hours. You fall down the game hole, and man, by the time I was done, between all the practice races for Baku, and then the actual Baku race, and then iRacing, my left leg and my arms and shoulders are actually like legitimately sore. So it's a perfect day for a little bit of trucking. Cautious. Oh, he's taking no chances. Sir. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a day of a little bit of trucking, and then I'm going to do some farming. Today is Sunday, where I am, And this video that I'm recording right now is going to get posted tomorrow. And then as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to hop into Lone Oak Farm and record that one as well. I'm going to render both of them and then post them different days. If that makes sense. So, yeah, man. Super cool. Everything is just going great lately. I don't know if you've had a time like that in your life, or if you're having a time like that in your life right now, where everything is just kind of, you know, couldn't be better. Sort of where I'm at. And there's definitely, like on a daily basis, there's problems to solve. But it's one of those things, like in the grand scheme of things, these are pretty mundane problems. There's people that have way bigger problems in their world today. I wouldn't want to be them. And it is so weird to go from a race car straight into an articulated lorry. I'm digging this truck, and I'm glad we came back. I'm glad we teleported back from Eastern Europe and didn't drive all the way back. I think, like I said, we'd had about enough of Eastern Europe. So we'll go up through the UK, and ideally we'll go all the way up to northern Scotland, maybe up to the Faroe Islands. I don't know if I want to go back to Iceland yet. I was thinking about it because it's high summer where I am. It's like 99 degrees and thunderstorms every afternoon and just tornadoes and the whole summertime scene. And it's really hot and muggy. I'm in the south. I'm in the American South, so it's really hot and muggy, humid, sticky. It's like Cambodia. And I thought, yeah, it'd be nice to go to Iceland. But we're about to turn the corner here because it's late July. So we'll get through August, and August is typically the worst. But August for me is, like, particularly toward the end of August, it's when you get that first evening that's like, you know, maybe we could start a fire in the fire pit, you know, that sort of thing. Or maybe, you know, when we're sitting outside having a glass of wine and watching the stars, maybe we'll get a little blanket. You know, that first night, it's not nearly cool yet. It's not nearly fall, but it's that first, like, indication you get that, oh, it's going to be fall. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, since we're close enough to fall, there's part of me that's like, I'm going to wait to head up into Iceland until it's like fall, late fall, and we can put the other Grimes weather in, the late autumn patch, and start making our way up that way. So essentially what we do is we would try to see to it that the game, barely see out of these mirrors, we would try to see to it that the game is as the weather is in real life. For me, if you're in a different part of the world, then obviously your weather might be a little different. You know what I mean. Whatever's happening in the real world would be happening in the game. I think maybe that'd be cool. I'm curious about the timing of F1 2018, which comes out in about a month, 3 weeks, late August. And I know, well, I mean, it's August. I'm curious what their timing is, whether they released it when it was done, or whether they're releasing it in August for a specific reason. But if it was me, I would release it around November, December, because you're only a couple months out from the season at that point. And people can play, like, wherever F1 is on the calendar that weekend, that's the race you can do. I like doing that. But with it coming out in the middle of the season, you can't do that. And I guess maybe with the cars changing over and the teams switching drivers around and that sort of thing, maybe they can't do that, you know, because they don't know necessarily what the cars are going to be until they're released. Or maybe it just takes that amount of time to get everything done once they do know. I don't know. But we're halfway through a season. I'm halfway through a season F1 2017, and when F1 2018 comes out, I don't know if I should finish the season that I started, or oh, lag spike. Oh, lag spike. Oh, Jesus Christ, will you come on? How long is this one gonna last? Like 20 minutes. Oh. I am so sorry. I am so embarrassed. I have no idea. I don't know what causes it. I don't know what makes it start. I don't know what makes it stop. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know if I should start the season again. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Or finish it, because then I just started playing F1 2017 a couple months ago, and at that point, like, you know, I bought the game for whatever, $60. So at that point, I'm gonna like uninstall it and never play it again because we're on F1 2018 now. That's a smart thing to do, particularly as a YouTuber. People like to see the latest and best, newest and greatest. They're not really into old stuff. So that's the thing that makes the most sense. But I don't know if we're gonna do that. Sir? I don't know if we're gonna do that. And we could do both, but that's a lot of F1, particularly because I am no great shakes as an F1 driver. I'm not like, there's people on YouTube, I watch them, and they're running the AI at like over 100% and just killing it. And it's like, no, babe, I can't do that. I can't even almost do that. So I don't know how people would feel about 2 episodes weekly of mediocre Formula One. We'll see. We got a minute to decide. We got 3 weeks to decide, and then we'll figure out what we want to do. Lag spikes, man, and it's just this sim. It's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and there's a part of me, like, because the first time it happened, I was like, oh, this is scenery loading, and I've seen similar spikes in other people's videos of scenery loading, but they don't last as long. They last like a second or two, not like 8 or 10 seconds. And for something like a train sim, which is where I've seen it, it's not a big deal because your train, you know, well, it's on tracks. Everything's fine. But when you're in a truck sim, or like, are we not in a lane here? What's going on? There's our lane. That was really weird. Our lane looked like it was extremely narrow. But I think we got it. In a train sim, it's fine because your train's going to keep going. But in a truck sim or a race sim, all kinds of bad things can happen in 8 seconds of not really having control. So we're getting into, where do we head to? Swansea. We're getting into Swansea. So let's get this dropped off and we'll call it an episode. And then I'm going to hop over to the farm and continue harvesting. And we've been to Swansea before, haven't we? Yeah, we were in Swansea in our 1.30 profile. And if you don't have the Jazzy Cats packs, you need to get those, because they add so much to the game as far as variety of like company names and logos on vehicles. It really, really makes a difference. For me, it does. It's one of those things that for me, it's like I don't notice it when I don't notice it, but now that I've seen it, I seriously couldn't live without it, because it just without that variety of company names that you see in real life. Like the map just looks sort of dead without it. Seeing the same fake names over and over. And that's no shade on SCS. You know, they make the game. You can't have a mod if you don't have the game first. So they make the game, but the mods, man, they really bring it alive for me. So let us carefully get our lift axle up here. There's our job. There's our yard right there. It's a little tight up here. And I think, is this a ProMods area or is this a base game area? We can't see too well back there. Oh, game. Oh yeah, a whopping 2 FPS. I don't know. I don't know what causes that. I mean, it could be scenery, but I don't know where the bottleneck would be. I got plenty of RAM. I'm on an SSD on an i7 processor. But see, look right now. Doesn't it seem faster and more crisp than it was? Is it just me? I don't know. I don't know, man. For the life of me, I can't solve it. I feel like I'm literally going to buy a new laptop, a new gaming system, more powerful than this, just so I can not have lag spikes in one sim. Which seems like kind of a stupid thing to do, but I can't get OBS working. Action cuts my frame rate in half when I record in action, and Bandicam doesn't work for me at all. Where's this thing going? You know what? In the rain, I'm gonna go third person. I've been doing some third person backing lately. I don't feel too bad about it. You know, in a perfect world. In a perfect world, but you know what? This ain't a perfect world. Let's do a little screenshotty. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Right. So, those chickens? They sure are. Right. So we've delivered the DAL Bulk liquid tank to this farm. I have no idea what that's about. How do we do? Very cool. 10 grand. Got some good points toward leveling up. There you go, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator. And we will see you next time. Take care now.